Welcome, everybody, to the Streakers Island Podcast. It is I, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst. And as always, this podcast is powered by Streakers Gaming. Make sure you download the Streakers app and join all the fun with custom props, tons of different game modes, and it's an absolute hoot and a holler and a hoot. But I'm joined by Mr. Lade Dashing Dashko. And of course, the one, the only, everyone's favorite homie, who is, we now know, has more than just one Blue Jay hat. It's Mr. More for Your Money.
Woo!
All right, guys, the main focus of this show today is a very long, very deep dive, gas or ass. The new CFL commissioner, who has not been in for a year yet, has made some, depending on who you're talking about, some major changes to the Canadian Football League. So we're going to go over all those changes and declare each change gas or ass. For anyone who's never played along with our little gas or ass segments, gas is good. That means there's fuel in the tank. Ass, it's ass. It sucks. Donkey's booty. So, for anyone who isn't familiar with the changes, we will go over all those new changes. And there are, I don't know, I personally feel there was a decent amount of changes, but nothing, the most extreme thing ever. But, we are shortening. Let's start off with, I'm going to say, is the one that I think kind of set all these things in. And it's the end zone field goal post situation. So The end zones have now been shrunk from 20 yards to 15 yards, and the goalposts are now moved to the back of the end zone. This is to somewhat help with, I believe, I believe we can play the CFL videos actually, Lane. So why don't Lane? Do you want to grab those?
I will find that CFL
because those are from the CFL press. So
where was that video you sent, Jacob? That was from the CFL. It's digitalized. It was a very good video you sent me.
I'm going to find it.
Lane is going to pull that up. But
okay, go.
When we're talking end zones, right? How many times have we seen a player run headfirst into the end zone? Into the goalpost, I mean.
You mean the goalpost.
Do you want me to share my screen, Jacob?
Yeah, just share your screen, Mr. Dashko.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. I think this is the best way before we go. I just thought about it.
Yeah, I like this video. Thinking it is.
All right, let me know when you can see it. I'll start it.
We got it. Let's roll the clip.
All right.
Canadian.
Yeah, that's it.
For generations, the Canadian Football League has thrilled fans with its speed, skill, and pace of play. It is a game built on tradition, yet never afraid to evolve. Now, the CFL is taking the next step in its evolution. A series of bold strategic changes designed to elevate the action, enhance the viewer experience, and position the league for the future. These updates will create more highlight-worthy plays, improve sightlines, and deliver more entertainment. Change 1, goalposts and field size. The goalposts will shift from the front of the end zones near the goal line to the back of the end zones. Repositioning the goalposts removes an obstruction for the players and for the in-stadium and broadcast viewers. This change allows quarterbacks to use the entire end zone to their advantage. Historically, the placement of the goalposts has largely removed the middle of the end zone for quarterbacks. By shifting the goalposts, offenses will have the entire end zone to work with unobstructed. This will also remove the goalposts as an obstacle for teams operating deep in their own territory, or for defensive players covering receivers in the end zone. With the goalposts shifting to the back.
Okay, so I think we'll go through each rule here. Let's stop it and we'll talk about that rule first, and then we'll come back to it. I think that's the best way.
I agree. So first ones we're talking about here, and we already have some comments.
Yeah, I got comments going.
Okay, so this is one that I've seen a lot. Boo. Boo. We don't want to be American football.
So he's an ass. Well, I'm not saying Connor's an ass. Connor's a lovely human being. But he's on the ass side of this topic.
But when we talk about the first set of rule changes here, we're talking about the goalposts. So the goalpost used to be at the front of the end zone. It is now being pushed to the back of the end zone. They haven't gotten into this part there yet, but that also means they are moving the end zones to make them 15 yards deep instead of 20. Now, mind you, not every team in the league even had 20-yard end zones. Like BMO, I believe, was 18.
You taught me that.
So this is the thing, right? Like when I was watching this, I was like, "Oh no, we're gonna lose our C, and we're gonna lose this bigger field. It's gonna look so small." But then when he kind of explained it the way he I think a lot of these rules, I'll be honest, I think they're actually good rules, but the way they were kind of presented, they weren't presented the best. Like they weren't exactly presented the best way, because he goes into saying each stadium has different end zone sizes, right? For example, BMO Field had a full 20-yard end zone, but in Montreal they only had a 12-yard end zone because of cutouts or something.
Well, because they have a track that goes around the field,
right?
Because it's a university, technically.
So really, what they're really doing, they're not really shortening the field. They're just making make sure every team can have an equal end zone, and make sure the field actually fits everybody's stadium.
Now, Connor has a good point down here. I was thinking about this when we were watching the video. If you have the end zones at the back of the field, the argument is you're not going to get the missed field goal touchdown returns, which we will see, 102 this past week, for example?
You're not going to see as many.
Well, I guess
you won't see as many.
I guess. I don't know. But
the thing is, though, like now with like a 30, the kicks are going to be going pretty much through the back of the end zone all the time on a miss.
Right, that's what Connor's saying.
That's what Connor is alluding to here. And Connor, I see you are on Team Ass. So I'm not going to give my verdict until the end here about how I feel. But when we're talking about end zones here, there's a graphic here that really, really explains this quite well. And we're just kind of looking at, it's hard to see here, but you have your green, your yellow, and your red, right? So your green and yellow are your higher used parts of the end zone. The red is hardly being used whatsoever. And the reason why this is hardly being used
because that goalpost
is because of that goalpost.
Right, exactly.
So that's the argument. If you get rid of the goalposts, you're opening this entire bit of the end zone here. And that's the argument with this rule. And same thing with this graphic here. They are saying, what, in theory, it's giving 34% more of the field. That's the theory behind it. Now,
do you want me to keep going, or Jacob, or?
Yeah, why don't we keep going? Oh, we still have still a couple more.
Yeah. Still more going on here.
Global history of 13 defender. The tradition is now dead. Now, I see your point to an extent, Connor. I do. I'll be honest. This isn't the rule out of all the rules that I was too upset about. To be completely honest with you guys, I was never the biggest fan of the goalposts at the front of the end zone. I mean, I do agree it is. Some people say it's Americanizing, and sure, the field will look a little more like an NFL field now. If you look in the end zone, I mean, we still have the width, which to me, that's more of a CFL. Okay, you guys can boo me. You know what? Connor? Just for you, I have, because I've been using these sound effects for days.
I don't know. I don't think it's just like he makes it. He did. I mean, I know the way. It's just, again, it's the way he says, like, well, when I was playing football, I threw it pass off the field goal post and lost my. I'm like, instead of just being like, well, but I did like the example of how he said, there was a great catch in a game, and only 30% of the people even in the stadium got to see it
because of the end zones.
I just want to say a comment here. I think if you can find it, Jacob, because it's a controversial topic we're talking about tonight, you should put up the comment from Streakers, just reminding people about different languages. Because Connor's been excellent. He hasn't said anything bad, but just afraid of future viewers might lose their cool a little bit on this topic, right? So Jacob could find that comment buried somewhere. I would appreciate that.
Dan, what do you think?
Well, what I think is I actually like. I mean, I'm going to get booed again, I'm sorry, but I actually like this idea for a couple of reasons. One, it does help player safety without having to post in the way. You do see the odd time the player running into the post. It doesn't happen often, but I have seen it. Two, I think the league is better when all fields are the same size. I think it's kind of funny that Jacob pointed this out to me I didn't think of. Montreal has the corners cut out because of the track. It was Saskatchewan and Vancouver. They have like a 22-yard end zone, and someone in the East only had a 12-yard end zone. It didn't really make sense that the end zones were different sizes in each arena. So for those two reasons, and I also like the fact for TV viewership, that's something we have to think about here. As much as we wanted to impress the fans in the stadium, even more people watch it at home. And it does make it look a little more appetizing, not having the goalpost in the way. And, one thing I should say, too, is there is a TV deal expanding at the end of this year. It's running up. So I think maybe the CFL is trying to intrigue TSN and different stations to put in a big bid for the contract and try and make it as TV friendly as possible.
Now, funny enough, Connor, to your point
That's a
here
good
about
point.
the MLB having different size fields,
I
they'll
was gonna
never
say
do
that,
it.
yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I hate it. I hate how a team players can have multiple more home runs because they're in a home run friendly stadium. Imagine watching a hockey game in the NHL and every rink was a different size. Or compared to the end zones, let's go. The Leafs use Olympic size nets. The Red Wings use mini stick nets. The Utah uses NHL size nets, and then another team uses in between, right? Like the only thing my only little concern on this, I would have put the post to the back and just left the end zone at 20 yards. It is still the biggest end zone in professional football, and I get they're saying, well, they did this for the kicking game, but to be honest with you boys, I think by keeping the end zone 20 yards deep, we still could have had some more missed field goal returns, and it could have kept that aspect a little bit more. That would be my tweak. However, I'm not totally against the end zone post being moved up to the front.
The issue is, Jacob, look at Montreal, where the field is, they can't even do 20-yard end zones if they want to.
That's not
fair.
No,
I get it. And I think they are trying. But to Connor's point, look at the MLB, and as much as I don't like it, it doesn't bug people that every stadium's completely different.
I think 15's a happy medium because 15's still bigger than the NFL, but at least all 9 stadiums and potentially a future 10th, as I've been saying, has to happen for the CFL, will all have.
Well, we're going to talk about a theory that I have about
and
this.
To agree with Connor's point about the MLB, you look at Sky Dome, for example, 7-8 foot wall, and then you compare that to Boston to the Green Monster, right? So it's completely different in a whole one. And then you have Chicago where the wall is not even 5 feet.
But Dan, to Connor's point, that's why he's saying he feels the end zones weren't a big deal, that they could be different from stadium to stadium.
I get his point. I
totally get what he's saying. And by the way, I do want to point out, as much as we've put in the comment section about being respectful and whatnot, when I say that, it is more than fine that we all have different opinions. I'm sure there's going to be some rules coming up here that we have a bit of a heated debate on.
For sure, 100%.
So why don't we get to the next point here from the presser video?
Back of the end zones. The end zones themselves will be shortened from 20 yards to 15 yards. This will help mitigate the impact on field goal kicking, while still delivering a larger end zone than other forms of football.
So,
in addition to the...
So you see, everyone's complaining, but if you look at the black, right, that's an NFL football field.
Yeah.
This is still a lot bigger.
It is. I would have left it the 20 yards. That's just my 2 cents on it. I love the giant end zones. I'm not saying, because I saw some people fighting back saying, oh, then for more touchdowns, let's have a 50-yard end zone. It's like, well, no, that's stupid. But I personally have always been a fan of it.
Man.
But I do agree with you, Lane. It still is the largest end zone in professional football.
That green, everyone's forgetting about this green.
Bigger than the XFL.
And you corrected me too when I said, oh, the fields are smaller. Well, yeah, by 5 yards or something. by like 10 yards technically, but the width is still there. Like you look at the width of
Right.
the actual end zone compared to the NFL. It's so much wider, man. Like you look at where theirs are, you get so much more and so much room at the top and at the sides there.
I actually like the fact, Lane, that you're pausing the video because I watched this. I missed this part of the video.
That's why I want to pause. That's why I want to go through it slowly, right?
Yeah, so I like this.
Should we move on, or do you think?
Let's move on. So we've talked about the 15-yard to 20-yard quite a bit.
No problem.
Due size of the end zones, the field will be condensed to 100 yards. This means that offenses will be starting drives 10 yards closer to their opponent's end zone and only 5 yards further from a field goal.
What's that, sorry?
Okay, I'm going to keep this a buck. I hate this.
Me too.
I really don't like this. As much as do I think this makes this Americanized? Personally, no. Do I like it? Personally, no. I thought I will be very sad the last game I go to when I can still see that 55-yard line. I will probably be emotional, I'll be honest, because remember, like I've been watching CFL football from before I even understood what football was.
Here's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just keep, like, if they want to, I think that, they could have done to make this look a little bit better, not maybe.
Let's put the goalpost in the middle of the end zone.
No, but I think one thing they could do, and I think this would maybe lessen the blow to Canadian football fans. You can disagree with me. I think keeping the C instead of having the 50, the visual of the C, or have a 55-yard line, or like just the way you could do, like keep that C. At least instead of saying 50, keep the C.
Okay,
that's a good idea. I like that.
That would look better visually. I do agree, but
I just think people would be like, I haven't seen so many people be like, I'm going to miss seeing that C. I'm going to miss seeing. So if you really want to change it, and you don't want to change it that much, keep the C. So at least when people go, they're going to be like, okay, I still see that it's 45, and then it's C. Instead of,
that's
just an idea.
That's a good point. I did forget to say, with the last rule we're talking about, the field goal in the end zones, I am gas for those rule changes. I am ass for the length of the field. I really think it should have stayed at 110 yards. I get that the field is much wider than the American, and that's great, but I think the extra 10 yards is creative for Canadians too, and I'm asked.
But they didn't. But they only took it from the end zone stand. The field, they actually didn't.
No,
really
the field is so late, and they took it away, and plus we're losing 5 yards to either side.
I know. I'm just saying.
Now we just go to the 50.
From the end zones. I'm just saying. They're really
I get it.
The end zones.
I also think, maybe to make it balanced on both sides, and also too, I'm just going to say this too, from a cost perspective, I would have left the field 55 yards. And I hate to say this, the Canadian Football League does not make great profits. I love this league, and I will defend this league wholeheartedly. However, we also got to keep it a buck, and the profit margins aren't there. So I think that changing this, I just feel, was an unnecessary change to be made when it just wasn't super needed, right? That's kind of my 2 cents on it.
I totally agree.
I just think you're losing one first down.
Well, the goal is, though, to make it one first down closer to a field goal. And I think it is, with the field goal post moving back 15 yards, but then cutting the field down by 10 yards. You're basically only having to drive an extra 5 yards for a field goal. I think that's the thought process. I just don't agree with that line of thinking. I'm not against the end zones, although I do agree with Connor. We are losing those exciting field goal return kicks.
Yeah,
but you're going to have more touchdowns.
We're going to get more touchdowns. But the only thing is, you could argue, what's more exciting, a passing touchdown or a 128-yard kick return for a touchdown?
Here's the thing that I think a lot of people forget. Right? A lot of people are forgetting this, though. You're also going to get a better viewing product when you're at the game. You pay.
Oh, from the end zone seats, it's going to be way better to watch.
Right, when you take your kid and your 3 kids, and you only pay $20 for those cheap seats, and you're sitting way at the top, you're going to get a better view and not miss that game-winning touchdown. You're like, what happened? I didn't see it. And I will say, actually, Lane, I'm gonna piggyback on that a little bit. That is an advantage, I guess, to the shorter field as well. If I'm sitting at a cheap seat at the 20. I'm now 10 yards closer to seeing the play in the end zone. To be honest, I just don't think this is going to kill the game when people are saying
No.
This is not killing the game.
I still feel that, in all honesty, I would have left it 110 yards.
There's only one rule that's going to kill the game.
I would have left it 110 yards.
I would too.
But
what about you, Lane? Are you gas or ass with the 100-yard field?
I'm fine with it. Like, honestly, after having a few days to really read about it, think about it, kind of process everything, I don't hate any of these rules.
And
we'll
that's
get,
why
we'll get into the most
days.
that was the reason why we didn't come on right away with it. And also, too, I'll be honest, I've been a little under the weather. You can probably hear it in my voice. It's not 100%.
Why don't we get to the next rule, though?
So I didn't have enough of a voice to do a show, just to be honest with you. But why don't we move on to the next rules here? Because I think the next one is another.
Despite the shifted goalposts, team decision-making on third down is heavily influenced by field position. Typically, third down decisions are mostly scrutinized between midfield and the opposing 40-yard line. By reducing the overall field length to 100 yards and pushing the goalposts to the back of the end zone, this decision zone expands, encouraging more aggressive third down attempts as teams push for touchdowns, creating higher stakes plays that add decisive, entertaining moments to the game.
Pause this, Lane, quick.
Change 2.
Yep.
The only thing I will say is I do hope this doesn't create more punts instead of more third down gambles.
Ooh.
That is a concern I do have there.
Interesting point.
Let's go to the comment section here from a friend of the program, Key. I'm glad you say about the yards. I'm shattered that Canadian Football League wants to become the scam in Football League. I'm going to get into this more at the end. I personally don't feel this is making the game Americanized as much as some people feel it does. And there's a graphic that we found from CFL today that'll kind of get into that a little bit more. So hang around for the end of all these because there's another thing we got to go over before we get the final verdict.
So we get to the second big rule. This is a big one.
Roll it.
Rouge Rule redefined. The Rouge Rule gets a modern twist. Now, a single point is only awarded if the return team is tackled in the end zone or concedes voluntarily. No more points for missed kicks or punts or kickoffs that sail or bounce out of the end zone. This eliminates a reward for failure, removing the risk of a game being won by a missed attempt. Kickers may also be encouraged to keep the ball in play more, forcing returns and creating opportunities for cover teams to trap opponents in their end zone. Offenses lose the safety net of guaranteed points on deep kicks, shifting decision-making towards more aggressive third down attempts and precision kicking. Special teams coordinators gain an expanded tactical role as directional kicking, coverage schemes, and situational rouges become more meaningful parts of the game.
All right.
Okay, so I'm actually surprised about the amount of pushback on this one.
I love this
because I'm sorry, but I've remembered everyone complaining about the Rouge, that they hated it, especially. And I'm going to say this last year when the Argos won a game off of Rouge. I remember I was arguing with a lot of people about that saying, well, it's a rule. At the end of the day, the Argos were smart enough to take advantage of it. Just like the LTIR in the NHL. Teams were smart enough to take advantage of it.
It's not fair.
No, I'm not saying it's fair or it is, but it's the way it was. I was worried they were going to get rid of the Rouge completely. And I actually think the Rouge, I love the Rouge personally. I love screaming Rouge on top of my lungs at a game. But I think the way they modified it, I'm okay with it. The only thing I would have preferred, as weird as this might sound, I think if you can kick the ball 90 yards on a kickoff, I think you deserve a point. I would have done it if you kicked it straight through without it hitting the ground. That counts as a point. Still. But I don't mind them. I'll put this in the middle. I don't mind these changes on this one. I do like it that now a missed field goal doesn't count for anything because I always thought it was kind of like, do you know when you're in PE class in high school and you were clearly the best player, but everyone gets a ribbon because everyone needs to feel special. That's what the Rouge felt like to me on a missed field goal. You did your best, kid. Here you go. And imagine a Grey Cup being won on a Rouge.
And the thing is, right, and this is another thing we can go back on, and it's kind of a rule. We were just talking about the missed field goals, how it's not going to happen. I think for the first few years of this rule, you are going to see a lot more Rouges because you're going to get CFL kickers who think, I can make that kick, and they're not going to be able to make it, and you're still going to have that width of the end zone where someone can grab it and run it back. Like, there's still going to be missed return kicks because it's going to take a while for kickers to really feel that difference. So you're still going to see a lot of people try to get in that end zone, catch it, and try to run it out. And then if they can't, you'll see the Rouge. So I still think you're going to see a lot of returns from the field. Everyone's like, that's not going to happen. We don't have these kind of we like to play aggressive, and that's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, they're just going to do it. No, not necessarily. Not everyone plays like the CFL. The guys that play in this league have a lot of heart and a lot of emotion. Everyone plays this game up their sleeve, so everyone's forgetting that this is not some pushback crybaby league, that these guys actually tried their hardest every shift. These guys are hardworking players.
Mm-hmm.
So for everyone saying, oh, they're just going to stand there and let the kick go by and try not to return it, that's where I disagree 100%. I think players still will. Because the difference between the NFL and the CFL, again, that people are not thinking about, we actually have a special teams. We don't just get our third receiver. We actually, every team gets a committed guy that can actually return
kick returns.
Right.
And that's the thing. At least let's just be honest here. At least they didn't bring in the fair catch rule from the NFL.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Personally, I'm going to say this here right now. I think the fair catch is one of the dumbest things in sports.
I totally agree with you.
I hate it. I
one
hate
thing
the fair
I
catch in the
want
NFL.
to clear up is I see hearing a lot of people talk about this and seeing different comments online and stuff. For Woods is not gone. A lot of people thinking these new rule changes, the Woods is gone. And that's not the case at all. It's not gone. It's still there. I just want to say a huge shout out to my class at Seneca, the sports entertainment marketing class. We'll be talking about this subject next week. So quite possibly a few of you are watching the video. So I just want to say thanks for watching.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Rick from Hamilton Sports Central. I see you sent us a good old Lyco and you're watching the video. So good to hear from you again, Rick. I believe he did something on all these rule changes as well. So when you're done hearing us talk about it and you want to hear more, because you're going to want to hear more, this is a huge thing. I'll be honest, these are some of the biggest changes in sports rules I remember in a very long time, not just in the Canadian Football League, but in general. Then head over to Hamilton Sports Central and give him a watch on those. But why don't we move on now? Because I think we've kind of talked about.
I was just going to say, I think it's as big as we got in 20 years. Like last time I remember something this crazy was when the NHL came out with a lockout and they brought in the salary cap, got rid of 2-line passes, and put in the trapezoid and got rid of touch icing.
Which, if you remember, a lot of people hated those rule changes, said they were going to kill the NHL.
In the shootout, right?
I remember a lot of people saying the pitch clock was going to kill the MLB.
Yeah.
I personally love the pitch clock, even though I wasn't quite sure about it at first.
And even with the new rules, the NHL, I think it's made the game better overall.
I don't fully agree with you on that. I hate the trapezoid in the NHL. I think it's stupid.
Okay.
I think trapezoid's terrible. I used to love it when goalies would go and try to play the puck and then get ran over because they were in the freaking corner. I loved it. Why don't we move on to the third change here?
Yes.
3, play clock reset. We're introducing an automatic play clock reset, keeping the urgency up, the tempo fast, the action flowing, and the game flow consistent. Previously, each play required the official to reset the field for the next play and blow in the start of a 20-second play clock. The reliance on the official to initiate the play clock led to variability play by play and game to game. By moving to a 35-second play clock that resets automatically after each play, the CFL's unique pace will be maintained with consistency across games. Change 4.
So let's stop that there.
This is
one, it depends how it's implemented. And I'm going to say this, it really depends on the 3-minute warning. The way I think it will be done, I think the play clock will start right away, but the game clock will stop still between resets. And that should keep the flow, because the game we were at in Hamilton last week, the last 3 minutes did take 12 minutes of real time. Now, mind you, there was an injury on top of that, but it may speed up the urgency of teams to call the play in, because we've seen it where sometimes the ref doesn't whistle the ball in right away, and that we've seen it where they whistle it too quick when you can tell no one's reset and substitutions haven't been made. So if it is right away, my concern is if it runs and they change it for some reason, which I don't think they are. I'm not saying it is, but if this comes through and it ruins the final 3 minutes, then it will need to change. Lane, you have your hand up like you are in grade 3, wanting to know if you can have your juice box. Yes, you can.
All right, so I actually got a good contact on Twitter. I don't have the tweet on me, but this was the rule that even I was freaking out about. I was like, oh no, an extra 15 seconds, that's going to feel like an eternity. And what happens at the end of the game? You're going to be able to kill another 15 seconds every time you get a first down? but I read a good tweet from somebody in the CFL who kind of clarified this and made me feel, I was like, okay, I can breathe again. The reason this was put in was not, this has nothing to do with the actual time clock. This is just a play clock. This is not, so they said on average, when you go to a CFL game, it's about 42 seconds of an actual play clock, because by the time they finish the play, they set up the sticks, the ref gets the clock ready, he puts his whistle, he blows it, the 20 clock starts. They said it's way longer than 35 seconds. They said on average it's 40 to 50 seconds. With the automated play clock, all that will do is take the pressure off the ref from having to watch the time, sit there, make sure it's set up, blow the clock for the whistle for the game clock to start running. And so this is just for all this is to do is actually speed up the game and make the game flow thrower. This has nothing to do with the 3 minutes. There's going to be no rule changes in the last 3 minutes. The game clock is still going to stop every single time until the ref blows the whistle, and then it's going to go. So I just wanted to make that sure that this because it's a play clock, does not interfere with the game clock.
Very, very interesting point, Mr. Dasko. That's a great way to break it down. I know we're talking gas or ass and, one way or the other. This is the rule for me. Yeah, hey, thank you. This is the rule for me that really is different, because I am a half gas, half ass on it. I was going to try to figure out how to break it up, but they end the same ways. I can't really break it up. But anyway, I guess as. There you go. It's an as. Because I agree with having the clock reset by itself. I think that's great, because we've talked about it here on the island before about sports gambling, right? And possibly the refereeing favoring one team because, the neighbor's dog walker's babysitter places a $5 bet on a certain team, right? So we get all that. So I agree with eliminating human error and making it a automatic reset clock. What I don't agree with is 35 seconds. I get Lane's point. I still think 35 seconds is a bit too long. I think it's great, but it's not 40 seconds like the NFL. And I get if you're going to do automatic preset clock, 20 seconds is a little too fast. I think it's going to have been 30 seconds. That's my take on that.
I could have seen 30. And there's one thing I do want to say. There's nothing in place saying that these rules are going to stay for the rest of eternity. Maybe they'll try the 35 seconds and be like, you know what? This is a little too long. Let's bring it down to 30. Maybe we'll find it's a little too fast and we need 40. I don't think we will, but
what I think is going to happen, and I didn't mention yet, is I think we're going to practice these rules in preseason. Because you notice in the video, well, we'll play it, but there's some point in the video that says some of these rules are not effective until 2027.
Which we'll go over after all these rules, which ones are starting in 26, which ones are starting in 27.
So some are not even starting the next year. You still have all of this year the same way you like it. So deep into the playoff one, into the playoffs, into the Grey Cup, right? So I don't think all of these rules are written in stone. I think we're going to hear feedback from different players and coaches, which we already have, and we'll go over, and fans, and practice in the preseason and see which ones we like.
Well, and actually, that is something I want to talk about at the end of the rules about the fan aspect of it a little bit as well. But Lane, why don't we get into the next one?
Yep.
Opposite sidelines. Teams will now occupy opposite sidelines in every stadium. This consistency improves visual presentation, reduces congestion, and streamlines player substitutions, as players will be closer to the play, regardless of where the spot of the ball is. It's a small shift with a big impact on game flow and presentation. These upgrades are designed to both honor tradition and embrace innovation. More touchdowns, cleaner visuals, smarter rules, a more entertaining game for everyone. Welcome to the new era of the Canadian Football League.
Okay, so I don't know if maybe this is weird to say. I don't understand how anyone could be put off about this change. It's already like this in the West. I think having the benches on the same side is kind of idiotic because, as they say, it's terrible for substitutions. Look at the end of the Toronto-Edmonton game. We had a fight between coaches, which is entertaining.
That's That's the part I don't like about it. I like the drama. Like, it gives us a job. It gives us
Now,
something
mind
to
you, a
talk
lot of
about.
sports have them on the same side. Hockey does.
Hockey does.
Basketball does.
Yeah.
However, football anywhere else in the world does not. And you look at baseball, it's not. As baseball, they have their brawls. They go, nah, you still have nothing. So those are the changes.
So you are gassed of that one, Jacob. What
Oh,
about you,
100%.
Lee? Are you gassed or ass on this one?
Yeah, I don't think this is a big deal.
I'm
really
going to
don't.
be the weird one here. I'm going to say ass. I like it. Look at a Toronto Edmonton game when we had for drama of the two coaches duking it out. Look at the Toronto Vancouver game when the Argos. No, let me finish. When the Argos got 50 points and Chad Kelly goes up and York goes 50, it's going to be hard to do that when you're across 25 yards away from
Exactly.
the
They want to get rid of the drama and the BS. And also, I'm going to say this quickly. Chad Kelly doing that when you're too scared to play, when you haven't played a snap of football yet.
Oh, they're making fun of my boy.
Look, I don't know. I don't particularly like players who are running their mouth when they're not on the field. We don't know if it's Kelly who doesn't want to play or if it's Toronto that doesn't want to play him right now. I know he's still dealing with that injury, but to my understanding, he's been medically cleared, so we won't get into all that. But
He is back on his 6th week.
Yeah, he's been in playing close at practice every week. But there's something that I wanted to go over now, and I just need to load it in. There's two things I need to load in. So we will load them in now. But let's go over our verdict. Out of all the rules as a whole, are you gas or ass? Lane, are you gas or ass on these rules as a whole?
I'm still thinking gas.
Mr. Morfor, are you gas or ass on these rules as a whole?
Well, I'm doing the math in my head. I'm gas to some, ass to some, and 50-50 on some. So to even out, probably around 65%. So I'm going to say gas.
I'm gas on the rules as a whole. Now, there's two things I want to show. Actually, so three. So this is from CFL Plus, and these are your CFL versus NFL rules and which ones are the same. So field length is now the same, but field width is different. End zones are different. Uprights are same. Downs are different. Players are different. Waggle versus no waggle. 35-second play clock versus 40-second play clock. Canadian ratio. Rouge is different. Defensive 1 yard scrimmage line different. 5 yard no yards versus fair catch. Kept the kickoff the way it is. 3-minute warning versus 2-minute warning. Good overtime rules versus bad overtime rules. And my personal favorite, better beer versus crappy beer. So if you look at all these changes, there are only two that are the same now as the NFL.
By the
I
way,
did not
Luke
think of
Wilson
that.
ripped this apart.
Actually, Luke Wilson, for once, I actually kind of agreed with him.
Ooh.
Kind of saying like everyone's got to kind of relax
No.
and it's not Americanizing the CFL. And as calm as this guy is behind the fire, Firefighter Simulator 2014, I feel like this is more the way we need to be about these rules. Let's give them a shot.
Yeah,
And I'm curious what you guys think. I think this was the tweet that kind of started all the Americanization changes when Rob Peterson saying, I'm being told to be prepared for Americanization of the CFL. This was before the rules were announced.
You didn't even follow him back, Will.
And by the way, I have nothing against Rod Pearson.
Why do you follow him?
Because that's just a screenshot, Dan. I don't really
Okay.
use Twitter. I know I should use Twitter.
So, in my opinion, there's two things that's going to kill this game. Well, one for sure. If they do this one rule, I think it'll kill the CFL. And I pray they got the fourth down. That'll kill it.
Yeah, if we go to 4-down football in the CFL,
That'll kill it.
okay, I used to go to Argo games no matter what. I will. I support my double blue. But if they ever went to 4-down football, we look at the XFL and the UFL, it just doesn't work in non-NFL markets.
Right.
But when we talk about the rule and the way they're coming out, so in 2026 is when we get a modified Rouge, the automatic play clock, and the team benches being moved. It's not till 2027 we see the goalpost relocation, the end zone shortening, and the field shortening.
Oh, interesting.
So I do like that the CFL is giving teams some time to...
See, so here's what I'm thinking. with this 35 seconds. I wonder
Think Lane.
if that'll just be like 35 seconds. You have your time. If you got your 15 seconds to substitute, bring guys on, gets it up 20 seconds, and then they'll blow the whistle for that 20-second game clock to start. That's how I think it's going to go.
In the 3 minutes? Yeah, I could totally see
and
that.
Especially with the 3 minutes. They said that nothing changes, so the clock's going to just stop, so it's fine.
Now, there's been a lot of different reaction from players.
Yeah.
Nathan Rourke and Sean White were both very vocal. Sean White basically saying by 2027 he may as well just retire. He's also in his late 30s, so he'll probably retire.
I think he's probably going to retire anyway.
And look, okay, the Nathan Rourke comments is the one I kind of want to get into here a bit before we dive into another side of it.
He basically said
the CFL is his employer. They have every right to make these changes without consulting him or any player.
Don't they have talked to the Players Association?
They did. The Players Association approved it.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And I'm sorry, too, and I'm not trying to just crap on Nathan Rourke. He's having a phenomenal season.
Mr. Clipboard.
He's bad with a microphone.
Right now, he is the clear-cut first for MOP, in my opinion. I think he will win the MOP. But I didn't like his comment saying, I came back to the CFL because I love this game. You came back to the CFL because no one in the NFL was giving you a fair shake. And I'm going to say giving you a fair shake because I don't think Nathan Rourke got a fair shake in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they should do with Nathan Rourke? They should like make sure they either need to PR train this guy or not give him a microphone, because whenever he talks, whenever he literally
he's not good at interviews.
No, when he opens his mouth, he causes problems for himself. He says things that I don't think he means. And then he has to walk it back. Like, I don't think he's a dumb guy. I just think he's not good when, I shouldn't say dumb, but you know what I'm saying. I don't think he's unintelligent. I just think when he's getting pressured with microphones in his face, he says something that he knows he shouldn't say, and then he has to kind of walk it back and be like, "Well, I didn't mean that." This is like the second time now when he said the NFL's a pit stop or CFL's. I don't think actually he meant that. I think he just said that, right? Yeah. And then this whole like, oh, they don't care about me and they don't care about the game. I think he was frustrated because he probably saw a lot of the fan feedback. He's a Canadian kid who grew up loving this game. You know, he probably watched this game thinking, oh, they're going to change all the rules. They're going to ruin it. Probably was all involved in that hype that everyone else was getting into that day. It was like right after it happened. So again, I just think they need to PR train this guy or take his PR away, because he's a phenomenal player. He can go up there. He makes an exciting game. He's worth a $20 ticket every time he comes to town. I don't care what you say. Even though I was chirping him the entire game saying, Mr. Clipboard, and you should go back to Jacksonville. That guy made that game interesting. That was an entertaining game.
He's good for the league. There's no end of him. He's good for the league.
He's fun to get behind. He just can't talk to the media.
So basically, I got a gas or ass here a second time.
Well, we're still not even done our first gas or ass.
Okay, so there's a mini gas or ass. Said would the league be better if we took the microphone away from Nathan Rourke and take a keyboard away from Chad Kelly?
I mean, yes.
Chad Kelly's very controversial on social media.
Yeah, for sure.
Look, I hate saying this. I do wonder if we see Chad Kelly play another snap in the double blue.
I don't think so.
I hate to say it,
depends
I
what
love the
happens
guy,
towards these last 4 games of Nick Arbuckle, who is confirmed back to be the starter for the Toronto Argonauts on Friday.
I think he could win MOP. I really do.
It's possible, but
if the Argos make the playoffs.
I'm going to say this, though. As much as I don't feel these rule changes aren't to Americanize the game, and Nathan Rourke did say in an interview with TSN today he felt like he had a responsibility to stand up for the Canadian game, which is why he said what he said. I think that's what you're saying, Lane.
Yeah,
he saw the fan reaction,
for sure,
and he was trying to stand up for it. But
again,
here's my thought process.
He just words himself wrongly.
True.
I don't think he means to.
But here's my thought process. Can we all agree the XFL is failing?
100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
They would love to get Toronto Argonaut crowds. And the Toronto Argos get the worst crowd in the entire league, unfortunately. I shouldn't say the worst, the smallest. The crowd that's there is phenomenal. And I'm not just saying I'm an Argo fan. They're loud, they're engaged. Well, I'm not engaged personally. Like, I'm not married. Or soon to be married. But I'm very we're very into the game.
Jacob would marry me if I asked him. Jacob, will you marry me?
Yes.
Oh, see?
Now he's
engaged.
Exactly.
Okay, but boys, the point of what I'm trying to make here is the changes they are making will be a hell of a lot easier when the CFL goes back to the USA. Because I think that's what's happening. When the XFL dies, because it will, I'm sorry for our viewers who are XFL fans. I've even watched some of the games.
I've
Not my
never
most
seen an
favorite.
XFL game ever.
It's okay.
You're not
I would
missing
put it as
anything.
okay. Actually, I'll be honest. The football I love is arena football, actually. But
That's fine.
you look at St. Louis, that gets over 40,000 people there every night,
That's
every
a
game.
lot of people, man.
And you are going to make that the 10th team in the Canadian Football League. You're going to find
But then it's not Canadian.
Whoa.
Lane, they've done it before. An American team has won the Grey Cup.
Baltimore.
Not that much further from when Hamilton last won a Grey Cup.
I just wish that's
1999.
that's
Well,
fine.
that's what I think is happening. Because if you remember 2 years ago, the CFL and the XFL were talking about merging. But Dwayne Johnson said, you need to become like the XFL. Randy and Brolzer basically told him to go away. And that was the end of it. So I think this could be partially to look at NFL expand. To look at when the XFL and UFL, and I hate to say shut down, and I feel bad for the fans that are there, but the XFL championship game had 8,000 people at it.
Yeah.
That is bad.
The Argos have about 12,000 on
Argos are averaging just around 14,000 a game.
Okay, sorry, 14,000.
Say what you want. Argos attendance has been improving every year over the last 4 years.
They have. I might get a couple boosts for this, but even though the Argos attendance is smaller, when I was at the Hamilton game, I think the Argo fans are louder. Now, maybe a partial reason of that is because in Hamilton is concrete, so you can't exactly stop your feet. I tried, it really hurt, okay? So don't stop your feet in Hamilton. Versus BMO, you can stop your feet because it's metal, and we don't know if the FIFA changes, if it'll change to the stadium or not, but I don't know. That Argo crowd, small, is very loud, so give them loud.
I would say it's louder than Hamilton's crowd. It's different than Hamilton's crowd.
That's just because I'm not there. If I was there,
that's why you're pretty loud.
They'd be like a hurricane in Hamilton every game.
But this is what I think is partial of the reason, because unfortunately right now, there isn't really a stadium ready to take a 10th team in Canada. Now, could this also be to build a stadium that's smaller?
Schooners.
That's also cheaper. So maybe they're looking at expansion either way, but go ahead, Mr. Dashko.
I actually forgot to mention this, and you just reminded me, so thank you. So, I don't know if you guys heard, in Hamilton, everybody knows them. They're apparently the most passionate fans in the CFL. The Box J boys. I don't know if everyone's heard of them. They sit in Box J. It's been a family seat ever since I was a kid, and forever and ever. It's been in the family. They go to the game. They wear the Box J boy shirts. So they said, apparently, the Box J boys will never go to another CFL game if they change the rules. Do you think their fan bases with passionate fan base, are any other fans going to jump on? Because if they're starting a trend and people go, if we hop on their back, maybe we can stop it. Do you think we'll see maybe in our passionate section of the Argos say we'll join them, or maybe
I don't think these rules are drastic enough to do that.
It could happen, though, Lane. It could. I think there are people who are saying things now out of anger.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be interesting to see how many people will if they actually do cancel season tickets or not. Because there are some people saying that they're going to cancel it. Well, I also remember kids saying they were never going to wash their hand again after their crush touched their hand. Well, they still washed their hand at some point. Right?
Maybe they didn't.
Well, I hope they did, especially.
It's a yucky hand.
But that's kind of my thought process on that, Mr. Dashko. I think it really
I know when I
and actually, Dan, maybe we need to make this a prop in our sports booth for the weekend in the Streakers app. Do you like the new CFL rules, gas or ass? So, Mr. Morford, you can add that into our sports booth because all the CFL games will be in there. Yeah, let's get that in there, Mr. Morford.
100%. I'll put that in there 100%. Another comment I wanted to mention is hopefully we can find it somewhere. Mike Osei was saying some interesting comments. The head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers basically backing up Nathan York. And I'm kind of wondering, call me crazy, but Zach Guerrero says he's getting older. And if BC something happens with Nathan York, I could see Nathan York going Winnipeg. We play Zach Guerrero's. I think that's why Michael Say has publicly defended Nathan York quite a few times over the past few years.
Well, speaking of Zach,
Yeah,
Close,
Michael
apparently
Shea
coming
said
back.
you could feel the passion, and he called this criticism of the CFO rule changes fantastic.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
Well,
Apparently he's back.
Caleros came back. Actually, it's the first time since week 1 we're going to have all the starting quarterbacks back because VA's
Yes.
back, Arbuckle's back, and Caleros is back.
Pretty sweet.
And Rourke is back. Remember, Rourke was injured for a bit early in
I
the
guess
year,
Mil
too.
Stiegel was wrong. Because Mil Stiegel said that Quarles will never come back.
Well, time. I hate.
Yes,
I
he's
hate
back.
to say this,
Back
Dan
again.
and Lane. I hate to say this. I pray it doesn't happen. We'll find out when he takes his next big hit if Milt Stiegel was right or not. And I hate to say that. When I say this, I
we
pray
care
I'm
about
wrong.
players' safety 100%.
Because I love Zach Caleros is a great man, father, husband. We don't want to see anything bad happen to him, right?
No, for sure.
See, I think we could all say a future CFO Hall of Famer.
Oh, 100%.
Look, though, everyone said Trevor Harris wasn't going to come back from his injury last year when he blew his hip out, and he came back. But as a reminder, there are a lot of big games on the docket this
one
weekend.
other comment I want to talk about was Nick Arbuckle. He had a really interesting comment.
I don't want to read his whole novel on it because it's
not the whole novel. It's 7
But Nick
pages.
Arbuckle just basically had a very positive spin on it, and so did Bo Levi Mitchell, so did Trevor Harris.
Yep.
I'm not going to say who said this to me. It's a closed source, but some people did say that they felt the Rough Riders players felt scripted about the rule changes. And again, I'm not saying where this is from. This is an undisclosed source.
Well, a lot of people are saying, I want to fight this too. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, the TSN boys are not saying a word. They obviously paid off." That's not true. Some of them have. So, yeah, be careful what you say, right? Everyone's saying, "Oh, the CFL, the TSN boys are so happy." That's not true. So, be careful what you're saying up there and putting up there because it's not necessarily true.
Well,
no, because when they talked to Faron Lalji about it, he admitted he didn't fully get why they're shrinking the field from 110 to 100. And Luke Wilson said the same thing on Twitter, actually. Mm-hmm. Now, he on Overdrive did go on about how he didn't feel this was Americanizing the game. And personally, neither do I, as we went over all the differences between American and Canadian football. Right. But, I mean, the good thing is, look, most of the major changes aren't happening for 2 years. Yep. It is going to give teams time to adjust. And look, I will say, as a CFL fan, don't knock it till you try it. Let's at least give it a shot, see what it's like, and let's hope it's good.
Well, that's the other thing.
Do you remember when they brought in this new commissioner? They brought him in because they said they wanted change.
And
that is what the owner said. That is what the Players Association said. Excuse me. That is what the league chairs said. They all wanted change.
They brought him in to improve the game.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, maybe. Is he making these changes fast? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but you got to do it.
I love
whipping
the
the Band-Aid off.
I love the CFL. 2 teams are making profit.
Yeah.
Which, mind you, Vancouver, I think they could be making profit if they weren't putting so much money back out into the community.
Which teams are making profit? The Argos,
Saskatchewan, and Winnipeg.
Well, not even Argos are making. The Argos don't make.
No, it's a tax.
Argos lose money every time they turn on the lights. They lose money.
Wow.
And I will say this: when they said the 2, I was a little surprised. The one I was surprised about was saying Hamilton isn't making any money. I think that might change this year.
That's because of losing the deal with the stadium. When the donor Tim Hortons left the sponsorship in the donor box, and no one has replaced that deal yet. So right now, the stadium in Hamilton is called Hamilton Stadium. I'm just going to say this.
That won't last long.
Well, I'm just going to say what I hope happens is that Porter did open a new wing in the Hamilton airport. Since that happened, Porter's became a main sponsor of the Ticats. I think the arena should be called Porter Arena, and it was a call it for Hainer. I think that'll be the best thing ever. And I'll probably piss off Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans as their logo is an airplane, right? I think it'll be so cool. So hopefully that happens. But I just want to say, we had some interesting comments from players, from coaches,
from fans,
different people in the CFL community and fans. And, we've seen some pretty people, not nasty, but people very vocal and upset from the fans. I don't know if we've really seen any positive fans about this.
Yes, we have. I have
Okay.
seen, truthfully, I have almost at the equal, if not more positive than negative when
I
I'm
like it. I personally really like
Interesting.
I
it.
have
Okay,
seen,
so
look, I can't believe I'm saying it. I have seen fans saying they wish they made it 4 downs, which I
Oh,
don't
that's
like.
No.
Truthfully, I thought when they were changing the rules. Now, actually, you know what? Let's actually bring this to the table. Is there a rule that you thought should have been changed? And I'm going to give you one.
Yeah.
And it wasn't to do with the play on the field. I think the salary cap on coaching is idiotic.
I agree with that.
I think that should have been scrapped. And I'm
NHL doesn't
half
have
debate
that.
on the ratio rule being scrapped. Those are my two.
Hmm.
I thought those two may have been in this. But especially
Yeah.
the coach's salary cap, I think that's I really think that's stupid. I think it's hindering teams.
There's
What do you
one
think,
rule.
Lane?
There's one rule. I know you're going to disagree and say no. I just think it would take away a lot of controversy. When the game ends, it's over. No more last play. No more. Well, there was it
Ooh.
half a second. Was it a tenth of a
No, I
second?
disagree with you that
Oh,
wholeheartedly.
it's total
There's no more
honesty.
comeback.
I just think, there's sometimes we watch a game, there's 32 seconds, we're just going to let it run off. And it's a 4-point game. They can't do it, so they'll let this one. I just think when the game's over, it's over.
I disagree with you on that 100%. Look at, sorry, Mr. Cat fan, look at Toronto versus Hamilton with 18 seconds left.
Hmm.
That is a comeback we'll be talking about 20 years from now.
Yeah, I'd be
The
just as
CFL was
exciting if it
known
was the
for
other way
that.
around and the Argos got cocky and Hamilton came back and went over second. Doesn't matter what fan you support, what team you support, that was exciting regardless who won the game. That was such
There's so
an
much
exciting
controversy around it. Everyone gets mad.
I get
about
that, but okay, but if anything, I think the last play of the game should be automatically reviewed.
Hmm.
For example, Toronto versus Montreal last week, there was pass interference on Mackay Polk that was not called. It was very
Right.
obvious on replay that should have been called. If that is called, the Toronto Argonauts are in field goal range with a kicker who hits over 90% of his kicks this
Right.
season. Let's be honest, if the call was called correctly, Toronto wins that game
Mhm.
with Jared Dagey in at quarterback. So
It's just weird.
I think plays like that at the end of the game should be automatically reviewed.
I'm going to say something crazy here. And I think a rule that they took away, I think they should bring back, is they should allow the Montreal fans to bring in the air horns again. And they should have banned anything for fans to bring into the game. If you can make noise as crazy as you can, make that noise. Yeah, literally. Wouldn't that be amazing? Big old noise!
Absolutely not. It killed the broadcast.
Whoa!
I couldn't hear any ambient on the field. All I hear is honk, 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 honk. And that's what everyone's getting mixed up with. They didn't ban air horns. They banned the hand horn, where you're literally just...
Yeah.
If you have the lungs, like there's a guy in our section in 225 at Beamo.
Oh, he's got a gift from
He's
God.
got the lungs of an angel.
Yeah.
And he can just blow that horn for a very long
Wow.
time. If that was my lungs, they'd be doing this.
Yeah.
They would not be able to take it. But no, Dan, I don't agree with you there. But
That sounds like Blue Jay fans right now.
hey, at least the Jays got a
Yeah.
the Jays
They won
did
tonight.
get a the Jays did get a big win today. Unfortunately, so did the New York Yankees.
Yeah,
So
I
they are
know.
currently still tied for first in the AL.
So does that mean the Blue Jays have to win all 3 of their last games in order to win?
Pretty
Depends what
much.
the Yankees do. If the
Pretty
Jays
much.
win out and the Yankees win out, the Jays win the division. It's still in their hands.
But the Jays have to win all 3 games, no?
No.
Well, not necessarily.
It depends. If the Yankees win the next 3, then the Jays have to. If the
But
Yankees win,
lose 2 or 1.
then the Jays only have to win 2.
They just have to
Okay.
match
They're
them.
tied currently, and the Jays hold the tiebreaker.
Because on Sportsnet, they had the graphic as if 3 more games to go on Quince. That's
Yes,
why I
3
was
games
confused.
in total. Whether those count as a Yankee loss would count as 1 game.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I'll give Dan 10 seconds to process this because you can tell he's very confused.
No, I know that.
I can still see his face. There's
Steve's gonna be able
smoke
to
coming
hear-
out. It's got to calm down. Dan,
Well-
do you now understand?
Yes.
Well, it's funny if you look at the MLB standings. I don't think George Springer said he said they just wanted to give it to him. Well, apparently they just gave him. The MLB actually had the standings wrong and had the Jays in the wild card, but they fixed it.
wow.
They actually had it wrong for a few hours today.
Which, by the way, that's been causing a lot of controversy. George Springer's comment saying the league's just giving it to the Yankees.
Yeah, literally. Well, the control office, or whatever they call it, the MLB, is based in New York. And let's face it, overall TV ratings would be better if the Yankees in the playoffs. Like,
by that logic,
not wanting a Canadian team in the finals.
By that logic, the replay center favors Toronto every game because it's located in Toronto. The replay center in the NHL favors the Leafs every game since it's located in Toronto. Actually, I've said this. All replay centers should be in a city where there's no team.
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
Put the replay center for the CFL in London. Problem solved. But, before we wrap it up for the day, there are still, whether you're watching this live or this episode will be posted on our Spotify, so whether you're watching this live or you're listening to it, there are some big games coming up as of live tomorrow, if you're listening to it on Friday today, between the Calgary Stampeders and the Montreal Alouettes and the Toronto Argonauts versus the BC Lions. Now, these are two very, very important games. I think for Montreal, they've won a game. Davis Alexander's making his return. They've won 2 games in a row now without Alexander, and now Davis Alexander is back. Calgary, on the flip side, has looked like D.O. double dog poop. They've looked terrible. I think this win is so important for Calgary. Not a season-ending loss if you get it, but I would say morality-wise, it's one they need.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm shocked that David Alexander is coming back. I didn't think that's why I hurt the Argos chance, I think, of making playoffs. Don't they play Montreal?
Argos, this game has absolutely nothing to do with them. I don't think they're going to catch Montreal. Their only chance is to win the crossover now.
You see,
they got to beat BC, though.
They have to beat BC. Remember, Toronto plays BC at 10 o'clock. This is the game. I hate to say this. If Toronto loses this, I think they're done.
Shout out to Jinder Argo, who traveled all the way to Vancouver to support them. That's amazing. So good on him.
But unfortunately, I think they're done if they don't win this game.
Oh, for sure.
I think we're done now.
I disagree with you, Dan. You said they were done at 2-8.
Yeah, I did.
Nick Arbuckle, if any quarter, the way Arbuckle was played this year, if he can come back at the same level, and remember last time against BC, Nick Arbuckle ripped that defense apart.
He did.
You're worried about Blue Bombers, or you're worried about the Lions right now?
Toronto. Now, mind you, if Toronto beats BC, it's not as big of a deal if Winnipeg beats Hamilton. But you want Winnipeg to lose to Hamilton just to make it easier.
You also want the Elks to lose, too, because...
Now, personally, I don't think the Elks really have much of a chance because they're going to climb through the East and in the West and the East. I don't think they have much of a shot.
Still, you don't want
Basically, in my opinion, there is one playoff spot that I think is open. And I think there are 3 teams who realistically have a chance, and I still give Toronto a chance just because they're playing BC. If they weren't playing BC or Winnipeg in the last little bit, I would say they're done. But because they're playing BC, if they win that game, that's like a 4-point game. Remember, if they beat BC, they'll have half the season series, which means they would own the tiebreaker, and it would tie. It would either tie them or only put them 2 points behind.
It just sucks. You guys gotta buy your last week. See.
I know. It is an issue with the 9-team format, right? But BC currently has 14 points. Toronto currently has 10. So if you win that game, you're only 2 points behind BC, and you have the season series. I'm going to say it. The Argos basically have to win out.
Yeah.
The only game they could maybe lose would be their last home game against Hamilton, because they're not going to catch Hamilton. And BC plays Calgary that week. So if Calgary could beat BC, that's the thing though. If you can beat Hamilton, if you beat BC and Calgary beats BC the next week, and you beat Hamilton that next week, you're actually in the playoffs as of that moment. A lot needs to happen. Excuse me, but Dan, you said with Winnipeg you weren't counting them out because they had championship pedigree, and they've been to the Grey Cup 5 straight years. The Argos have won it twice in 3, and the year they didn't win, they were 16-2. Yeah, I'm saying the same thing about this team as I said about Winnipeg, but as you said about Winnipeg. But if they lose this week, they're done.
I was going to say, mark October 4th on your calendar. Great game to attend to, because the first 7,500 fans do get a special Doug Flutie Buffalo Bills / Argo gift. They're part of a new.
Yeah, it's a football legend. It's like Doug Flutie and Jim Kelly.
Yes, exactly.
And apparently they're going to both Doug Flutie and Jim Kelly will be there signing autographs.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
No, it's going to be, I think if people want to get that, they might need to leave now.
Yeah.
But then, of course, we also have 2 big games on Saturday between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say this one for here. This is a chance for Hamilton to really, really pull away. Because if you get a loss, if Montreal loses and you win, I think even mathematically you lock up the division if you're Hamilton.
Yeah,
so that's big, right? They really want that bye. And they want home field for that final game. You don't want to go to Montreal.
If they get home field in playoffs, that's going to help with the sponsorship deal for the arena, right?
Or it also makes Hamilton a lot more money.
That's what I'm saying, right?
So and then lastly, we do have Saskatchewan versus Edmonton. And Edmonton, I don't think will make the playoffs, but they're still mathematically in it. They have to win out. They cannot lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Saskatchewan, look, I don't think you've played your best football of late. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
And Saskatchewan is currently only 4 points ahead of Calgary. If Calgary gets their crap together, I mean, Saskatchewan is 10-3. They've been dominant this year.
Calgary looks pretty bad.
They've been the last couple of games. I don't think they've played up to their full potential. So I think you do want to get the ball rolling a little bit. Just get that offense going a little more. Get that defense playing a little better to close out the year.
Exactly.
So I think it's time that we grab our cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
Jump into the Streakers app and make our predictions for all 4 games this weekend. Hello.
Hi.
Let's start off with the very first game, which is the Calgary Stampeders versus Montreal Alouettes. Mr. Morfor, who are you taking?
I'm taking Calgary. I'm going off the board. I know Montreal might be the favorite here, but Alexander hasn't played in a very long time. I think he's going to be a little rusty. And Calgary, everyone's questioning is VA was the right decision. Was Calgary really as good as what they were at the beginning? I think yes. I think VA was the right decision. I think Calgary is that good. Yeah, they hit a speed bump the last few weeks. Well, they're going over a speed bump with Montreal, and they're going to get the victory.
Mr. Dashko, the most dashing man. Do you agree with the man with the hat?
I do not agree with the man with the hat. I actually think it's going to be Le Montreal Alouette. Alouette, something Alouette. I don't speak French that good. But yeah, no, I think Davis Alexander is going to come back. He's going to be motivated to win. I think this team needs to win. I think Calgary's in trouble. They've been playing really bad, just like the Jays have been playing the last 4 or 5 games up until tonight. I think Montreal's going to win this game.
So this is up to me to break the tie. Drum roll, please. Calgary.
Yeah.
I think the Stampeders.
No one ever agrees with me.
That's not true, Lane.
No.
I agree with you.
I should
about
just
how
leave.
dashing
I
you
should
are.
just turn my camera.
Agree with you about the
No one wants to look at my face. I should just turn my camera.
But I am saying Calgary because I think right now the Calgary fan base is doing this.
Yeah.
The way they've been playing, it's been really bad. I think if they can fix this on the road before their next home game, it's going to make things so much better for them. And I think VA, after having such a bad game against BC, is going to want to bounce back.
Oh, for sure.
And I think he'll bounce back in this game. Now let's move on to Toronto Argonauts versus the BC Lions. And I'm going to start this off. I still have faith. I think the Toronto Argonauts are going to win this one. I think Nick Arbuckle is going to have a really, really big game. I will say this. I think this game could depend on if Nick Arbuckle was a starting quarterback next year for the Argonauts or not. As much as he's had a great year, can he get it done when the pressure is on? This is a literally do or die game if you're Toronto. Lane, who are you taking? Are you taking Nathan Rourke? You've been really high on his play, maybe on the field, maybe still not much off the field. Or do you think that Nick Arbuckle can get it done?
I'm sorry, boys. I know I love you guys a lot, but unfortunately I got to take Mr. Clipboard. I think he's going to get his clipboard out. He's going to study the plays. He's going to be so mad. He's going to be sitting there being like, I got to study these plays. I don't know what I'm going to do in 2 years. What am I going to do? The field's going to go back to the NFL. I can't go back to the NFL. They don't like me there.
Mr. Moore 4, who are you taking in this one? Because you say the Argos are done. So do you think BC's going to kind of put the nail in the coffin?
I think the Argos are done, but not this week. I'm sticking with the Bluffy Love, and I'm taking the Argos. I think, Nick
No one
Arbuckle
listens
was
to
really
Lane.
upset.
Goodbye, Lane.
No. I think Nick Arbuckle was really upset that he got injured, and I think he's got to prove that he's going to be the MOP of the East, So I'm going to take buckle up.
Now, let's go over the Saturday matchups, which are the Hamilton Ticats versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This is where I think Lane and I will agree. So, Lane, let's ride together, get on the Eating Raw Train Express, because I think Hamilton will beat Winnipeg. I think Hamilton will beat Winnipeg. Truthfully, okay, Chris Strevler is terrible. But Zach Claros this year also hasn't been good. I don't see them beating Hamilton. I think Hamilton, I've said it when we went on our power rankings in last week's episode, Tuesday's episode. I said Hamilton right now is the best team in the CFL, and I still think that. I think Hamilton has a good chance of, and this is a brain explosion for me, I still think Hamilton could actually win the Grey Cup this year. I think they're that good. I think they're going to beat Winnipeg, and you may look back at this game as the game that kind of where Winnipeg maybe let things slip a little bit.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Lane, do you and I agree for the first time in the Streakers section of the Streakers Island podcast, powered by Streakers Gaming?
Yeah, we do. Let's go get some sushi, baby. We need a sound effect. Hey.
Well, I think LB, I just thought of this. Wouldn't it be awesome? Because Winnipeg won their 2 Grey Cups in Hamilton. So wouldn't it be awesome if Hamilton won their Grey Cup in Winnipeg? What a payback that would be. But for this game, I think Winnipeg's going to win. I think Zach Claros is going to come back and have a big game and set some credits up.
Lane, I think you and I hit it out of the park. I don't know why that sound effect didn't work. It was supposed to be a baseball hit, but it didn't work. The struggles of live TV when I'm trying to use a soundboard. Now let's go on to the Saskatchewan Roughriders versus Edmonton Elks. And I'm pulling a more for. And I'm going way off the board. I think Cody Fajardo beats Saskatchewan and keeps their slim playoff hopes alive.
I don't think that's out left field. I think Edmonton wins this game easily.
Whoa! Well, I guess I'm going off the boards. I'm picking the Roughriders.
Pourquoi?
I think Edmonton's done. I really do. I really think we're done.
Yeah,
and I think
play better when you're done.
The Roughriders haven't played their best football the last couple of weeks. I think they got to prove that they're going to be the dominant team to be in the playoffs this year.
I don't know. Sometimes you play better when you're done, though. The pressure's off. You're just
I get that.
Playing football. You're just going.
Well, they don't believe they're done yet. They're still mathematically in.
I think they believe it.
Well, maybe we do. I don't know.
But however, sometimes when you believe you're done, you play free.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what Lane was just saying. Yeah,
okay, so if you
Lane, someone agrees with you again.
So boys, if you think Edmonton thinks they're done, could you see Trey Ford starting? I mean, I don't think
That's what I said. I think Trey Ford could start this game.
No, he won't. But let's say you look at Edmonton's next game against Winnipeg on October the 11th.
Oh, Winnipeg for sure. Trey Ford.
I could see Trey Ford getting back in there, depending how it's mathematically.
Yeah, I see Fajardo playing against Saskatchewan because this is former team.
You guys couldn't have been sleeping well. There's no way.
I haven't been, actually. Thanks for asking.
There's no way you're taking Cody Fajardo. Cody Fajardo is going to be the starting core. Trey Ford's going to have to find a new team because I think Cody Fajardo is finishing up this year. They're going to find out what they miss. They're going to keep him in because he's playing well. He's winning them games. He's getting them close. They're going to build the team around him next year, keep him as a starting QB, and come back a strong team. Use this time. Yeah, actually,
I could see.
Why would you take out Cody Fajardo when you can use this time and say, what are we
continue
missing?
To build the offense around him? Yeah.
What are we missing to make this get us from the bottom to the playoffs? We have Fajardo. What do we need to add here to get this team to the next level?
Because I will say Fajardo has made this team better. Fajardo has made this team better.
Because you can argue, look what the Ticats did last year, right? They were
Yeah.
a crap team. Bo Levi Mitchell had the promise.
Kenny
He was
Lawler.
playing well, and they were like, what do we need to take this team to the next
Kenny
level?
Lawler.
And they went and got Kenny Lawler.
Yeah.
Edmonton has that opportunity to look at this team right now. At least it's rolling. It's doing something right. They can say, this team is getting better, but what are we missing? Let's really dissect, and then let's go into the offseason and get those things.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in Edmonton, maybe. Does Montreal get frustrated with Austin Mack's underperforming year, cut him,
Turn up the match.
and then does he go back to play with Cody Fajardo where he had his best year of his
Ooh, I can
professional
see
football
that.
career? That's very possible. But while we're on Edmonton and
But
before we
Montreal
wrap
just
up,
signed a 4-year contract. I don't know what fires
you can
usually
cut
don't
anyone in the
have-
CFL.
Well, usually they don't
No.
have long contracts in CFL.
Yeah, but Dan, they can just cut him.
True. Yeah.
But before we go and we're speaking on Edmonton, I know, Dan, you normally have an island mindset for our shows, but I'm going to take this moment instead and do something a little bit different. Very sad news out of Edmonton with
Yeah.
Elks owner shockingly passing away today at the age of 65.
Wow.
And the Larry Thompson, who unfortunately only purchased the team last year.
Yes. What's going to happen to that? That's so
Well,
sad.
from what I'm hearing, the family's taking over. But Dan, I think the bigger
Wow.
concern is for his family and loved ones who just
Of
lost a man
course.
that it was from surgery complications reported by CTV Edmonton.
That's
And
Wow.
we just wish his family all the best.
So
And I
sad.
really hope that's why too. I think Edmonton's going to get a win. I think they're going to do it for their owner.
Do it for
It's just
Larry.
a very, very sad day in the Canadian Football League as a man who was so passionate. I will say he's been a season ticket holder for years in Edmonton, so I think
Yep.
it was cool he did get to own the team at least before he passed away
So sad.
at the age of 65. So on
Oh,
that, I
geez.
think, instead of rolling an extra, that just doesn't feel right. So let's just take a moment of silence for Larry Thompson passing away, and thoughts, prayers, and good vibes sent to the family.
Mhm.
Thank you for watching the Streakers Island podcast.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys very soon.
Thank you.